and I'm a librarian here at the South Cobb Regional Library. And thank you so much for tuning in to the last Craftspiration video of the spring. And today I have something that I think is fun planned for you. We are going to make these really neat little plant hangers. Let me show you what it looks like. These plant hangers, and I kept it pretty simple, but once you know the foundation of this, you can make it interesting and fun and different. And we're also going to make some seed bombs so that you can plant those in your pots or take them outside and plant them. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, I am ready to go ahead and start making my plant hanger and my seed bombs. And the first thing I did was I just took all of the supplies out of my kit that I got from the South Cobb Regional Library. And if you were not able to get a kit, that's fine. You'll just need to go ahead and gather these supplies on your own. So in order to make the seed bombs, there are seeds and paper. And in order to make your plant hanger, we have a small ring, a tiny pot, and some twine. Clear these out of the way and start by making the seed bomb. Okay, in order to make your seed bombs, you're going to want to take the seeds and the paper from your kit, and you also want a container to mix your mixture in, some water, and if you have any fun ice cube trays at your house, you can use those, but you don't have to use them if you don't want to. And this craft is a great way for you to use up some scrap paper that you have lying around. You don't want to use glossy mailers like magazines or junk mail. But if you have just letters that are left over or newspaper or anything like that, then this is perfect for that. So you're just going to take your paper and you're going to tear it up into really little pieces. And the smaller the pieces that you tear up, the better. So I'm trying to make mine really small, as you can see. These are smaller than 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter, and you're just going to put them in a small cup or a bowl. So I will go ahead and tear up the rest of the sheet of paper, and I will be right back. Okay, I have went ahead and tore up my entire sheet of purple paper, and I have put it all in this cup, and now what you're wanting to do is just pour just enough water to completely cover your paper. I actually got a little bit too much water into mine, so I'll just add a little bit more paper to make it more even. And then I will just let that whole mixture sit for about 10 to 15 minutes. So we'll do that, and then I will be right back. All right, I have let my paper pulp mixture sit and absorb the water for, it's actually been about 15 minutes. So what you're going to do now is you're just going to reach in there and carefully pull it up and break down the paper until your mixture is about the consistency of oatmeal. And if you have an emulsion blender or if you have a good food processor, you might want to use that, but you can certainly get the same result using just your fingers as well, or a fork to beat it all up. So I will go ahead and work on that, and I will be right back. Okay, I have squished my mixture up until it is kind of goopy and thick, but definitely more soft and liquidy than it was before. As I said, you want it to be roughly the consistency of oatmeal, but it doesn't have to be exact because oatmeal has different consistencies. So what you're going to do now is you're going to pour off as much of the water that was in there as you possibly can. And then we are going to take a paper towel, or if you have a dish rag you want to use, that would work as well. And we are going to pour this entire mixture out on here, and then squeeze out the extra liquid. Before we add the seeds, we want our mixture to be as dry as we can possibly get it, because if it is wet, then the seeds can start to germinate, and then our seed bombs won't grow when we want them to. Alright, so here we have our final paper mixture, and it's still a little moist, so that'll help it hold its shape, but it's definitely not as wet as it was before. So I'm just going to take a little part and work on sort of making a ball out of it and roll it in my hands. So I have a bit of a ball here, and I'm going to open the ball up and take a paper towel and dab that middle space where we're going to put the seeds so we get as much of the moisture off as possible. Now I will get my seeds, and I'll just take a small pinch of them and put that in the middle of the seed bomb. And I am using assorted flower seeds here, so they're obviously smaller and I can get a lot in there. If you're using something larger like a sunflower seed, you may only be able to get 2 or 3 in your seed bomb. And then I'm going to reshape it into a ball. Try to get it as squished as tightly as I possibly can. So hopefully hold that shape. And then set it down and dab the outside dry again. And then you will just take your seed bomb and you will let it dry. I'm going to show you an alternate way to make your seed bombs as well, and this is actually a slightly easier way to get them to hold their shape. So if you have any ice cube trays, they can be the rectangular kind or fun shapes like these pumpkins I have here. You can take your paper mixture and fill one of the spots up about halfway or so, and then dab that to get the moisture off. And then you will add your seeds in the middle, just still add a small pinch. And then fill it up with some paper on top. And once again, you will dab to get rid of any extra moisture that is there, and wait until it's dry. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and work on the plant hanger that we're going to make today. And if you want to be as efficient as possible, you can work on making this while your paper pulp breaks down in the water, but you can do it whenever you'd like. And the one we're going to make today is really simple and basic, but you can make it much more complicated using more intricate knots or using beads or other decorations throughout the planter. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with just the twine, and we're going to cut 4 long pieces that are all the same length. So I'm just going to do that by taking this and doubling this so that I know that when I get to the end it's the same length. It does not be exactly the same, but you want it to be pretty close. So there's 2 lengths. I'm gonna come back here and I get 3, and then I double that over and come back down here, and now I have 4 lengths. And if you're not sure how long you should make it, you can just fold it in half, and that'll give you an idea of how long it'll be before you start knotting. And so if you know exactly how long you want it to be, you can add a little bit of length here for the knots, or you can just eyeball it and get a different result. So I'm going to cut it so that I have 4 separate strings. And then I do go ahead and fold them in half. I'll move the ball out of the way. And we get our ring, which is right here. And we're going to now loop the twine, loop our cord, so that we pull the loops up here through the top, and then we take the ends and we put them through our loop, and we pull it until it's tight. So that is how we're going to get the main links. So now you're going to put it on your surface and line it up so you have 4 sets of 2 pieces of twine. So I'm just going to do it like this. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 bundles, and now I'm going to take these and I'm going to very carefully make a knot in each of the pairs so that they're all in the same place, and this will be slightly above where the top of your pot falls. And so I'm going to pull each pair over to the pair next to it as I'm working across, just so that I can sort of see to make sure they're in the same spot. And if you get it too low or too high, if you double check your links before you tighten them, it's pretty easy for you to adjust that. So as you can see here, this knot is way too high, so I can just carefully and work it down so that it's at the same distance as the other 2 that we've done so far. And then once I have in the right spot, then I'll tighten that knot. I'll finish this up by doing the last one, and then we will look at what to do next. So there are those 4. Now you're going to carefully set it up like you had it before, and we are going to create 4 new sets of pairs by taking the string that's here and pairing it up with the one that's on the pair next to it now. And while we're doing this, we are going to go down a couple inches or so and make a new set of knots. And these will hopefully fall in about the middle of where your pot is. So I have my top knot slightly above the pot, and then my next one is sort of in the middle there. And you'll really adjust where these fall when you make the final knot at the bottom. So I'm going to do the next 2 sets, and then I will show you how to do the 2 outside edges, and we'll be right back. Okay, I've done 3 knots with the inside edges, as you can tell. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the 2 pieces that are on the outside and bring them together to create a new pair that's in front of the other pieces of string. And so we will then just make the same knot at the same place in this one, and that will give our plant hanger the structure that it needs to actually hold up the plant and go all the way around the pot. So it looks like it's a little bit too low, so let me adjust that. Get the same height as all the others. And if you want to be super precise with your measurements, you can get out a ruler and actually measure them as you go along. Alright, so now we have those, and the last thing we're going to do is just go down another little bit to the very bottom of where our pot would be and tie one last knot using all 8 of our pieces of string. And ideally you would have a little bit more left than I seem to, but it'll still be okay. Okay, I went ahead and I made that knot at the bottom, and now that we've done that, you can just carefully open it up and insert your pot so that it will be hanging. And sometimes it can seem a little off center at first, so you'll just need to adjust it and shift it just a little bit. But here is our really basic plant hanger.
That is the end of our video, everyone, and I hope you had a lot of fun, and I hope you'll have a lot of fun trying out this technique, and that you'll show us what you've made. You can share your results on social media with us, or you can bring in pictures and show them to the librarians at your favorite libraries that are open. And if you want to build upon these skills and make more crafts that are like this, I would recommend you check out the book Garden Alchemy by Stephanie Rose, or Hot Knots by Kat Hartman. And Hot Knots looks a little bit more at the macrame skills that went into the plant hanger, and Garden Alchemy shows you how to make seed bombs and make other fun things that go around your garden and outside. All right, we will be back this summer, and I hope you'll come back and tune in then. We have a lot of really fun things planned, both in terms of crafts and in terms of our summer adventure program.